often clicked on sections of with Alex Murdaugh really actually saying these things. I did have a moment where I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna get this right, and but I fairly early on I thought, in some ways I'm always really it, find myself able to mimic. If I really put my mind to it, I can, and spend some time on it. I can start life, and those are scenes that you realize that they were, a very loving family to many people's eyes, and there was a great sense of true love. And so, I think it was kind of that was the evidence that I went with, rather than to say he was faking his love for them or they were faking their love for him. It was a genuine thing, and it's difficult to kind of imagine. I think that's at the crux of this, is like, how could somebody who professed to love his son and his wife end up shooting and murdering them? And that's kind of the mystery of the whole series, I think, is why it's a different kind of story than any other kind of familicide, any killings within families story. Usually, the stories start with a traumatizing father who's abusive and everything, and then he ends up killing somebody. But this was different, and I hope to be able to capture that. I do find that the preparation for something like Murdaugh Murders, some of it depends on time, how much time you have in between when you were offered the part to when you have the first day of shooting. And for Murdaugh Murders, it was a very short amount of time. Because Lifetime, I think, wanted to make sure they had the rights to as much of the story as they could, and it meant that the trial had to be finished and the verdict rendered before they could, I think, this is what I always heard, that before they could make it a green light project and start doing pre-production. So I got the offer, and was about maybe 2.5 weeks before I had to be in Vancouver to start shooting. So it was not a great deal of time, but it ended up being maybe for the best, because I had to, at a certain point, abandon all the research, because there was a lot of documentation of his behavior because of certain aspects of the story. They had recordings from body cams, and they had allowed a television in the courtroom, which is not true in many states in the United States, but in South Carolina, they're able to have a video camera, and there are hours and hours of watching that was of that trial, and I didn't have time to watch it all. I just had to trust that I could kind of take him into me, and as fast as I could do it. Well, Greg Beeman is the director. Didn't have a lot of time to prepare, and had to, because the nature of the trial needed to have a verdict before they could go into pre-production, and the conditions of the production were that I would have to go to Canada, where we ended up shooting it in Vancouver, Canada, really quickly after I was offered the part. And I wasn't sure if I had enough time to do it, but and I had nowhere near enough time to watch all the video that's available on YouTube and other places. So I had to kind of watch a certain degree, and then just had to assume a few uh, make a few assumptions that would. Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to watch the Murdaugh Murders. Hi, this is Bill Pullman. Don't miss Murdaugh Murders in Lifetime Latin America.